Right, so in B, we want to find same things from A. So first thing, let's take a derivative. Be careful, this is going to require a product rule. So it's going to be our second function times the derivative of the first. Derivative of the first is just 2. Second function doesn't change. My second function, I'm going to get my first function, 2x, times the derivative of the second. Derivative of this is going to be negative 2x times your original function, e to the negative x squared. So this means that our derivative is going to be 2e to the negative x squared minus 4x squared e to the negative x squared. We can pull some stuff out. I'm going to pull a 2e to the negative x squared out of everything. 2e to the negative x squared. I'm going to get a 1 minus 2x squared in there. Right, and so then now every factor that has an x gets a chance to be 0. So this gets a chance to be 0, but 2e to the negative x squared is never equal to 0 because it's an exponential function. Over here, we're going to get, let's see, 1 minus 2x squared 0. So I can bring stuff over to get 1 equals 2x squared. And then when I kind of divide by 2, I can take the square root. So we're going to get two critical numbers. X is equal to negative square root of negative 1/2. X is equal to positive square root of 1/2. This might be the same as that question from the notes, by the way. Right, so we have these critical numbers. All right, so let's create a table of signs or know what the function does, right? We always want to have kind of like an idea of what we actually care about in our table of signs, right? So I have this thing. That's going to be 3 places I break it up. Boom, boom, negative, square root of 1/2, positive, square root of 1/2. But when we look at this, right? So this 2 is always a positive number. It doesn't affect anything. This e to the negative x squared is always a positive number. That doesn't affect anything. So we're realistically just looking at this 1 minus 2x squared for a table of signs, right? If you know 1 minus 2x squared, we're going to have quadratic that opens downwards. It's going to look like this. We're going to get negative, positive, negative. But let's just check that just in case. All right, so square root of a half is about 0.707. So negative version of that is going to be negative 0.707. If I plug in a number like, say, negative 1, where I'm going to get negative 1 squared. So that's going to be 1 minus 2, negative. So our function is decreasing. This is f prime down here. If I plug in something between these two, like say 0, or again, the only thing I care about is 1 minus 2x squared. If I throw in a 0, I'm just going to get 1 minus 0, positive. So our function is increasing. And if I throw in something bigger than square root of 1/2, like 1 minus 2x squared, if I throw in a 1, I'm going to get like 1 minus 2. It's symmetric. We're going to get the same thing over there. Negative, so we're decreasing. Right, so we're going from decreasing to increasing, so this is a min. We're going from increasing to decreasing, so that's going to be a max. Right, so let's see, where's our function decreasing? From negative infinity to negative square root of 1/2. And then again, probably should give you a bigger box, from the square root of 1/2 to infinity. And this is the exact same place where our function is going to be decreasing. Our function is increasing from negative square root of 1/2 to positive square root of 1/2. And that's where our functions, so that's where our derivative is positive. That's where our function will be increasing. Critical numbers. Which critical numbers are maxima? So that's going to be a maxima right there. So x equals the square root of 1/2. Which one's a minima? X equals negative square root of 1/2. We would throw these back into the original function too, that I'm not going to do that here because they're going to be nasty. But I'm going to throw them into Desmos. Again, you can just kind of do one of these things. You can do that or that and get your values. But oh, I don't know. I'll just do this one. So negative square roots of 0.5, right? So that value right there, positive square root, so that value right there. So we would get something like this positive square root of 1/2, roughly 0.807. Was that what the number was? 858. That's probably like some e to the something thingy. And then negative square root of 1/2, negative 0.858, right? We have some symmetry to this function, some oddness to this function. Right, so those are your two values. That's your min, that's your max. Those are your values. Those are your answers. my job here is done.